What's happening, everybody? I am Mike, a la Filmboy24, and today we're going to talk about these lens adapters and using SLR lenses on your C-mount cameras. So today is all about using these old school-ish SLR camera lenses, in this particular case the Nikon f-mount lenses, with these easy to find, inexpensive C-mount to whatever SLR or DSLR mount you desire. Again, this particular case is going to be my Bolex H16, and we're going to try 3 different Nikon f-mount SLR lenses with this adapter. Now, before I get started, let me say just a couple of quick things. I seem to be having an issue with my H16. It has some crazy light leaks. As you'll see here in a minute, I don't know what the problem is. I'm eventually going to make just a cover for this camera if I can't figure out and isolate where these leaks are coming from. I've tried different things. I do leave the filter holder in place. If I'm not using these lens mounts here, I always cap them, which I did in this case. And I'm still getting really bad light leaking. Now, I initially thought, well, maybe it's not the camera and maybe it's my developing tank, my 100-foot Lomo-ish developing tank. And maybe it is, I don't know. It's a very consistent white light flash, consistent flashy thingy that you're going to see primarily on the left side of the screen. So with that in mind, I do want to make I want to show you what I did with my CP16 mags. I did this many years ago. I had cut out some black vinyl fabric, and my wife, who's a genius with her sewing machine, sewed this up for me, put some Velcro on it, and this helps a lot with not having to tape up my magazines on my CP16. Now, I want to do something very similar with this, really basic, just to mainly block everything out. I would probably just have a little Velcro tab at the viewfinder and keep the lens front semi-open, maybe cover the, I don't know. I'm going to work on that, but I have to figure out why this is happening, because this is driving me. What's the thing? The fruit with the shape, it's yellow. Yeah. With that, I'm excited to say I did get a Krasnogorsk 3, or a K3 as they are more commonly known. I think my buddy Travis shoots these. Travis, if you're watching this, I got a K3. And I have and this just came in the mail just a couple of days ago. I have the Super 16 upgrade, because they're great, upgrade parts coming as well, which is the lens recentering ring and the gate, the widened gate. So we'll see how that turns out. I know that these cameras are notorious also for light leaks, so I want to do the same concept. I also want to make a cover, very basic cover for that, and also maybe I'll do a video when I install the Super 16 stuff on this camera. Anyway, let's move away from all that. What about today? Well, yesterday I took this camera and I took this like I say, very easy to find Nikon f-mount lens adapter. Basically, it adapts the old f-mount lenses and converts them to a C-mount lens. I've never tried that on this camera, and I was kind of wondering how it would look, how it would focus, because your focal length is going to be vastly different because of the depth of this adapter. So I was just curious. Now, I tried these 3 lenses. I started with the absolute classic in these old SLR lenses, which I know everyone has absolutely heard of and probably has 2 or 3 of them in their kit. It's the 50mm f1.8. I moved on to the other classic in this series. You guessed it, the 28mm f2.8. Then, just for gits and shiggles, I decided to try a Vivitar Series 1 zoom lens. Now this is a 70 to 210, I believe. 70 to 210, 2.8 to 4. I will say that I'm going to drop the rear lens cap. I'm going to tell you that ahead of time. So I will say that I had issues. I'm not a professional. I don't think you ever truly master film. I think film masters you. No one ever truly masters film. You could give two filmmakers the exact project, the exact film, the exact processing, the exact tanks, the exact cameras, and the exact names. And they're going to come up with vastly different results. Because that's the nature of film, and I think that's why everybody loves film. I experiment a ton with film, and I did have some focusing issues, a few focusing issues with this. I metered it with my iPhone app. With that said, they make all kinds of these old SLR and DSLR lens adapters. Here is a Canon FD to C-mount, so you could use FD lenses on your C-mount cameras. This particular one is a Minolta, the MD mount to C-mount, and this one here is the EOS lenses, or the EF lenses, Canon to C-mount. I also have the M42 to C-mount, and I know the Krasnogorsk or the K3 takes M42 lenses, so we'll be experimenting with that later on. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, I used an old roll of Plus X 7231 for this experiment. I don't know, maybe that's how the flashing comes into play. I don't know, I don't think so, because it did it on my 7222 last time, brand new. I'm going to show you what happened. Now, again, focus issues, some density issues, but overall, it actually didn't come out terrible. Now, please be reminded that the blending, or the frame blending, and the ghosting, and the effects that you may or may not see in this particular film scan is a result of the render. When you render this video that you're watching right now with some GoPro video that you'll also see in a second, with some 24 frames per second film video, you have to render it at 30 frames per second, because that's what I'm shooting. But you can kind of get an idea of the sharpness and the overall tonality of what these lenses will do. So without any more yickety yackety, let's take a peek at what happened yesterday. All right, kids, I'm here in my backyard, and we're going to start out with the ever popular Series E 50mm f1.8. I'm going to use my phone just to do a quick meter. I'm shooting at 24 frames per second, fully wound. I'm going to use like f5.6. Pretty bright day. I have tons of tree coverage in my backyard, but we're going to do f5.6 at 24 frames per second. Let's try to focus in. I'm just gonna shoot this. My daughters have a little swing set. Ow! My daughters have a little swing set in the backyard, and we're just gonna, very boring footage. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. Camera is rolling. That's enough on that. Maybe. It got dark. I think the sun went behind the clouds for a second. So while that happens, yeah, it's a real pain in the to take the glasses on and off. If you're a glasses wearer, hopefully you can relate with me. But I have the diopter control on this thing. Oh, I should shut that off. It's very sunny. I have it set for my eyes without my glasses on. And but I can't see the f-stops on here without them on. So yeah, it's a, you know, it's a little chore. F11, 5 seconds of sky. A 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5. Okay, I now have the Series E Nikon 28mm f2.8, which is also a very common, easily accessible lens. A 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, and it's gonna rain. Okay, we're gonna try the swing set again. Okay. Just for gits and shiggles, I'm gonna wind it again. A 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a long 5. Ready for this? A 1, a 2, a 3, a long 3, a 5, a 6, a 7. Now you might wonder, why did you skip 4? Well, because I had a long 3. Last thing I wanted to really test out is that zoom lens. Probably isn't a great idea to leave this. This is a heavy lens, to kind of just leave it. It's a lot of weight on that little C mount. We are going to do it because I'm crazy like that. A 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, and a 7. On these lenses, the focus changes. Your different focal lengths change the focus on these, so it's going to be a little bit tough to try to keep it in focus. Let's go. That's it. That's the full spectrum of this zoom lens. Okay, I think I'm going to handhold the camera and just walk around and get a few more extra shots. Well, there you have it. So it is possible to get a pretty usable image, and probably a lot better usable image than what I just showed you, because it's the first time I've ever done this, and I'm going to continue to experiment with this. Obviously, some of the footage was shot with the zoom lens, and you could see that, the sky zooming in and out. Primarily, most of it was shot with these two prime lenses, and I'm comfortable, you know, in using them again because I like the way they came out. Now, the film I processed in my favorite developer, which is HC110, the B formula, for about 4.5 minutes, which I think is about right. And the lenses, let me show you very briefly and quickly what you do to get these fixed up. All right, so you take your adapter, you take your lens, and in some cases they'll have the red dot, and there is a red dot on the adapter. Some lenses do not have the red dot, so you easily and carefully find the marrying point, lock it into place. Now with my Bolex, When I'm doing this type of experiment, I use the locking cover to lock the turret. There's a hole that goes all the way through, and it locks this turret down so it won't move. And I, of course, put a port cover in the hole that is not being used. Once your lens is mounted to the adapter, then you simply treat it like any other C-mount lens. Unless you like to throw C-mount lenses against the wall, in which case don't treat it like a C-mount lens. There, it's mounted. Now I'm in no danger of this wiggling because it's locked into place, and you are absolutely ready to go. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, how about do me a favor and subscribe? If you don't want to subscribe, then do me a different favor. Punch that like button. I also want to say that I'm overwhelmed at the number of subscribers I've gotten in the last 5 months. I am beyond appreciative. Thank you, thank you, thank you to each and every one of you, except for you. You know who you are. This channel would not be possible if people didn't watch. So, if you continue to watch, I'm going to continue to make a fool out of myself and do the best that I can with all kinds of film, all kinds of old video, that's coming soon, and all kinds of crazy 80s stuff. So until next time, I'll see you on the next go-around.